They've got you pegged, Joel. They've got you pegged. So it's not that I agree with this guy necessarily. I watched a debate between these guys right here, God Logic and Ruslan, debate against racial marriages.
I don't know if I'm disagreeing with you as much as you seem to be disagreeing with you. And so I got a couple clips I'd love to play.
If race is a big deal, racism is the necessary wall of defense to preserve the big deal of race.
And so these guys are over here saying that it's okay to have segregation amongst the different races based on the color of their skin and maybe some culture mixed in there. It's okay to do that as a Christian. And as a Christian, it's actually permitted to do that.
Like, I want America as a Christian nationalist to be mono-ethnic. I want everyone in America. That doesn't mean mono-racial, although I would like America to be predominantly white.
He's full black. He shows up 10 years, 15 years in, he starts dating your daughter. Are you now saying, hey, I don't think you guys should get married? And they love each other and they love the
Lord. That's a great question. So this is how we respond. First, just to make it just clear for our audience, that would never happen. What I'm saying is that if all things are equal, black man, white man, with my daughter being white, I would encourage her towards a white young man.
That debate did not go very well for these guys. They lost horrendously. It wasn't even a win versus lose. It was like, can you read, bro? Can you actually decipher what the text is saying? But they've created this whole world that doesn't actually exist in Christianity. Like, if you want to do that, man, like,
would you discourage her from the black man?
You guys familiar when the word race even made it into the English language, approximately?
16th century?
Yeah, 16th century. That's relatively modern, right? So if we're going to rail against the leftists and the liberals for their definitions of gender and and all this nonsense that we're seeing from the left, this is a relatively modern innovation. Distinction.
I think it's unwise to genocide the entire European
That's
race.
an emotional argument. You're
backdooring. Do that on your own time, but don't do that. Okay. And for the sake of sounding Christian, like, start inserting Christian history in there to make it sound like that's actually the Christian narrative. Yeah, it might have some history in Christianity in the Bible around this, but like, to say this is a Christian perspective and it's permitted, that's crazy. So I wanted to preface that before we jump into this video, because this whole Christian nationalist thing is taking over, which kudos to whoever wants America to be more God-fearing. That's good. But a part of me also believes that the ability for America to not be God-fearing is God ordained. Not that God is making it that way, but it's not some kind of abomination. Because remember, Israel in the Old Testament, they eventually did not stay God-fearing in seeing Christ. They did not remain that way. So trying to make a nation something that it kind of used to be, it's not. In my heart, a lot of the talks about Christian nationalism, it makes sense. It would be really good for the economy. It would be good for everyone overall, but no one wants to see it that way, and we can't force it. And the more we talk about, let's do this, let's do it, the more people are like, you guys are crazy, you guys are insane, and they're going to keep painting crazy pictures about those talking points. It's like, man, like, that's tough. So then you have this video here. The title of this video is Joel Webbin's submissive wife votes how he tells her, which at face value, it's like, that's not that big of a deal. Like, I'm pretty sure the people who have a problem with this are going to make up some crazy scenario. Oh, well, she has no autonomy. Okay, that's what we want to make this about. The politics, like her wanting to vote for someone. And then you get into, like, does your wife actually understand politics to the degree that if she did vote for this person, it would mean this for the economy? Like, if she understands that, all right, so now we have a conversation we can have. But if your wife isn't someone who understands politics to that level, like, most people, it's not even about the wife thing. Most people should not be voting. Most people could care less about what these politicians who always lie to come into power, and then once they're in power, they don't do a lot of the things that they said. A lot of their narratives and all of this stuff is way off base. A lot of people don't understand who these people are before they're big time politicians, and they sure as heck don't understand how they are once they're big time politicians. Like, I would vote for most people not being able to vote. Like, if you don't understand politics to a certain degree, like, don't vote. Just don't vote.
My wife, right? I'm not telling you what to do, but it's my suggestion. It's what we do. I see it as our household vote, and that half of my vote was stolen from me in women's suffrage. And so my wife votes, but she votes alongside me.
Correct.
She votes my vote because what she's doing is, as a woman who fears the Lord and as a
Okay, so already people have a problem with him saying this about his own household. But people also forget that most people are followers. If you advertise yourself well enough, if you tell certain kinds of stories well enough, if you present yourself professionally enough, most people will believe you. That's most people. So if he decides as a leader in his household, hey, I know what kind of games they play. I'm not going to let us fall for that. I'm not going to vote for this person and then you vote for this person. And they're counting on the majority. So for example, let me do some really quick math because this makes sense in my head. If we have 10 households and the politician who wants the votes says, okay, the majority of people are gonna vote for me. Like 4 people are gonna vote for me out of the 10. I know that for a fact. So I have 40% of the votes. The rest of the 60% is split between the households. You have some households who will vote for the other person, and then you have some households who would vote for me. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pit the households against each other. The people that I can influence, well, I know who they are. I'm gonna influence them, and then they're gonna vote one way, and then the people they're in the household with are gonna vote the other way. They're gonna cancel out their vote. So essentially it's going to come down to, well, 50%, six out of 10 households are voting 50% this person, 50% this person. Meaningless. I win the 40%. Dunzo. And that's literally how politics work. Politics is emotionally based. They use emotion and stories and I'm going to do this for you. And, you know, like all the cultural talk, like the racism and the slavery, like they love, you guys saw that in the Trump versus Kamala election. You guys saw that. All the black artists dancing on stage and the narratives about Kamala being black and she's actually not black at all. It's insane. That's what they do. They emotionally charge people. So if this dude in his household says, I know what game is being played, I'm not going to allow the household to play this game. I'm going to take leadership over that and drive the vote a certain way. Cool. Like right wings can do that. Left wing people can do that as well. I don't like y'all can do that, right? To me, specifically with politics, it's only the followers who are going to say, yeah, vote however you want. And I'm going to vote however I want. Why are you voting then? What's the point of voting, right? We vote to keep certain people in power. And it's become such a game. It's become such a clown show that people like these people are coming out and saying, hey, I want to actually control my household. So when we vote, it makes sense what we're doing. And people are like, oh, you suck. How dare you control your wife? Do you guys realize that this is the same emotional trope and narrative that they use to control people? This is how they essentially castrate men. Like a bunch of people just gather. Have you guys seen how bees take down these big red hornets? They just crowd the hornet and they create so much heat within their bodies that the hornet can't survive and it dies. But on a one-on-one fight, the hornet would destroy any bee any day. It would destroy hundreds of bees. But when they all jump on the bee and turn on their body heat, it kills the hornet. That's exactly what's happening with this. A bunch of people just jump on the talking point that you have and they just ramp it. We're like, whoa, you want to control women? Whoa, how dare you tell your wife what to do? Whoa, misogynist, how dare you say any of this stuff? And then they just keep ramping it up with no actual talking points, and people just jump on the trope. Like that's how viral videos work, and that's how these people work as well. There's no conversing. It's just straight emotionalism based on some perceived idea that is an idea. It's not even a well thought out an idea when you have the conversation.
Correct. She votes my vote because what she's doing is, as a woman who fears the Lord and as a submissive wife, she's saying, evil men stole half of your vote and gave it to me, and I'm giving it back. Evil men stole half of
evil men. This is a man just trying to get a grip on his household because he understands how the political system works. The people who speak against this man are actually speaking against people taking back power into the household. People complain about corporate America and all these big corporations and all of this stuff like taking over America, hiding your, taking in your data and selling it and all of these things. At the same time, who's voting to allow these people to have all this power? What kind of people are you guys putting in place to have these people be able to commune with them and make all these little loopholes and policies to allow them to have all this power? People. So if this dude says, hey, I see what's going on and I'm not going to allow my household to influence or help these people come into power, this is what I have to do. This is literally leadership. And people are painting him in a light that's like, you're an evil guy and you just want to control your wife. Oh, poor woman, as though she has no brain. And we actually forget that when slavery was around, it was mainly Christians going around saying that we don't want slavery around. We should not have slaves. Chattel slavery, let's not do it. And people were jumping on the Christians saying, you guys are idiots. Are you stupid? What are we going to do? We're not going to be able to produce anything. Are you guys insane? We own these people. These are the slave class. We bought them and brought them over. They're mine. This is literally what people were saying. We can do whatever we want. And so when a talking point comes up like this, where it's like a man actually trying to take a hold of his household, and people are like, oh, you suck as a man. Let the woman be the woman. Like, let her be a human being. What kind of households are we talking about? So this is another talking point the manosphere uses, which is completely valid. It's actually a valid point. If a war broke out and everyone had to go to war, it would mostly be men on the front lines. We have no autonomy, but we understand that we have to protect the country. We have to protect the country. If you say men shouldn't be on the front lines, you're a fool, because who's going to protect the country? Great. There's certain things that we have to do in society, and people act like, no, there's certain, you don't have to do anything in society. You could just be free and do whatever you want and vote however you want. And whoever comes in power because they told a story really good on a political stage, like they are the people that deserve to be in power, which is like, I'm dizzy right now, because what are we talking about? Leadership is tough. And one of the reasons why it's tough is because you say something like this and people paint you as literally the devil with horns in like the cane, sitting there beating your wife and telling her, you must do this or else I will beat you, or something like that. People are complete idiots. And these are some of the followers that listen to this guy and take his point and skew it completely left so that everyone else can see the skewed version of what he's saying, not the whole context, not the whole picture, not the conversation. People don't want to have conversations. They just want to paint pictures of people in broad strokes. I don't know. It's sick. But if you found any value out of this, let me know your thoughts below. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.